please welcome back the film's composer, Britell. We also have several of the actors joining us. Patrick Wilson. Riley Keough. Billy Crudup. Dern. Sandler. George Clooney. And welcome back, Baumbach. Thank you and congratulations on your response. Let's start with you, Noah. And if you could say a little bit about the process of writing, actually co-writing in this case, with Emily Mortimer. I remember when we had you here at the festival a couple years ago, Emily moderated a conversation with you. If you can say a little bit about your friendship and how this film came about.
Well, I've been sort of collecting ideas for this movie for a few years now, and I think, I don't know, I mean, this is something I say in a Q&A, but I don't know that it was more a feeling. Well, I don't know why I did it exactly, but I had this sort of feeling, well, maybe, I don't know, this is about a kind of interior, it's about somebody going and having a kind of, we're going to be doing an interior life in a sort of cinematic way, and I felt like, I don't know that I want to just do this alone in my own interior life. I want to have somebody I can talk to about it, and sort of, and I had known Emily over the years, and when May and Sam, her kids, were in White Noise, we got to know each other well, and I told her the story because I think I was just looking to sort of try to figure it out, because I couldn't solve it. And she just said so many kind of amazing things about it. So then I called her the next day and I was like, do you want to write this with me? And she said yes. And there's really the only thing I can sort of really say about it is that, like, I like myself when I'm with Emily. And so I think that makes for a great collaboration. I mean, she also was brilliant. So it went from there, and I sort of basically dumped all this stuff on her desk and was like, make some sense of this. And she then brought so many other things, and it had a long life after that, but that's how it began.
You said you were trying to solve a problem. What was that problem?
I mean, there were several. There's no one problem. It was just that I didn't know quite how to tell the story, because it could go anywhere at any point. So I had this idea of an actor on a journey, and both an interior journey and then also an exterior journey. And I had characters. I had Ron. I knew actors that I wanted to play these parts, and I had bits and things here, but I just didn't know how I was going to get there.
I have to ask if you and Emily were thinking of George for the part of Jake Kelly. I mean, you did need not just an actor, but a movie star. And
yeah, well, that was that feeling early on, was that this audience. Tom Cruise was busy. Well, I was cheaper. I couldn't afford Tom Cruise.
But there are not that many people who could fill this role.
No, that's what George said when I gave him the script. He said, "You're lucky I'm saying yes, because there's only about 3 people on Earth who can play this." Yes. but I felt it was important that this audience have a history and relationship with the actor who was playing Jay Kelly the same way that the people in the movie have with him.
George,
We have time for one more question. This one's for Noah. Thank you all for sitting here with me.
Yes. I'd love to hear how you responded to the script.
How did I respond to the script? Well, I just, look, it's, I've been a giant fan of Noah's work since the very first film I saw of his. I've been a fan of him as a person. I got to sort of work with him in the fantastic Mr. Fox. We didn't really get to spend a lot of time.
Right, it was your voice and I co-wrote it, so
Yes.
it's like,
You barely were.
it was like a 30% of a movie.
No, is that you? And then, you know, he sent me this script, and I thought, you know, it's a beautiful story. It's beautifully written. He told me that Adam was going to be playing the manager right off the bat. This was the very first conversation, because Adam and I have known each other for a long time, about 25 years. And, you know, he was on my show, on Saturday Night Live. And that's where we met. And we played a lot of basketball together or something. So I was just, the minute I read the script, I thought it would be a really fun thing to do. And I thought it'd be, you know, I thought we'd have a great time shooting in Italy and London. And you know, Amy and David are friends of mine, the producers. And then as the cast kind of fell together, I mean, look at this cast. I mean, Laura and I... Laura and I did my first movie when she was 15 years old, which was like, what, 8 years ago, I think?
Exactly. So
called Grizzly 2.
it's showing after this.
It's the worst thing you could ever imagine. It ran out of money. We got stuck in Budapest when it was, you know, communist Budapest, and they couldn't send us home because they didn't have money to do it. The movie never came out until 2 years ago, and some schmuck motherfucker put it together, put it out. We get killed in the first scene, and it's like starring Laura Dern. And we're getting terrible reviews 40 years later. What a nightmare. I'm used to getting bad reviews, but not, you know, I did Batman and Robin, I can take it. And it's just to work with all these wonderful actors, you know. I've been a giant fan of Billy's since I was a young man. Now
I know I got the letters, bro.
and man, he is like, he basically does one scene and steals the whole fucking movie. He just kills me. And so it's just really so much fun to be able to work with all these wonderful actors and stuff. So it was just a great, there was never any pause in saying yes.
Let's bring the other actors in as well. So you had Adam in mind for this part. Obviously, the two of you had worked together.
Yeah, and Adam and I are very close, and I felt like I wanted to write something for him that captured the sort of generosity and sweetness and loyalty and that Adam has to all the people in his life. I mean, he's such a gentle killer, and I felt like I just when I was writing Ron, I was like, this is something I've been wanting to work with him since Meyerowitz again, and that was something that we could do together, and he's so loyal to all the people in his life, and he's so, and so I thought again it was like it would be a nice match, even though he's more actually Jay Kelly, you know, in real life. But I mean, I love working with Adam. I'd work with Adam, you know, after this Q&A.
I would actually. I'd actually love to hear Adam and Laura talk about this. George, you're playing a movie star, but Adam and Laura, you're playing people you know intimately, but very much not actors. You're playing a manager, you're playing a publicist, but these are people you have in your lives. So I'm just, you know, if you can talk a bit about getting into that kind of part.
I love being this man that you wrote. It's nice to be someone who selfless and only cares about somebody else, and I cared deeply about Jay Kelly, and felt nice to give myself, but Laura's character and we did give so much to this man that we were sacrificing some of ourselves, and that was painful, and I forgot the question. Yes.
Just
Oh yeah. I have a bunch of people that work with me too that I could steal stuff from, and managers, agents, publicists, and the pain they have to feel every time they talk to me. So brought that into the part. So Laura.
Well, saying Noah's words and Noah and Emily's words is as easy as breathing for all of us. It's such an incredible gift, but beyond the privilege of getting to play these roles and pay tribute to the people who've suffered through with such generosity, their dedication to all our careers was amazing. I was so moved tonight, so I just have to take this opportunity to talk about the complexity and beauty of George's performance, and through this film that Noah has, yes, they've given us the iconography of the movie star and the actor, but that George, you carry us through as you have as an actor. Through this character, you carry us through our lifetime of wondering if we missed it, and it just was so beautiful how you transcend the character and give us such an amazing gift, and watching all these incredible actors and Nicholas Britell's score, which is one of the next person. Thank you for letting me say.
Riley, I wanted to bring you in, and maybe you could say a little bit about working with George. I think
No.
You're the only one I worked with.
Yeah, so you kind of have to.
I have to. It was wonderful. He's a wonderful person.
But the relationship between
An actor.
the relationship between your characters
Yeah.
does form a pretty important emotional
Yeah.
core of the film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the writing is so beautiful and honest, and I don't know. I got very lucky. He's so easy to connect with and work with, and the scenes were just so heartbreaking. It really was, I think, good writing.
You know, there's an interesting thing that, because Riley and I got to do one of those scenes, there are no visual effects in this film. So like when you see the whole opening, 12-page scene is all in one, and it's all done in one shot. It took us a couple of days to do it. Every time I go out of a plane and into a classroom, we've attached the classroom to the back of a plane. Riley and I, that whole scene out in the forest, she's hiding behind a tree, literally hiding behind a tree, and then like stepping out and saying her lines and then ducking back behind the trees. So there was a lot of old showbiz tricks that are really fun, the ones that we get to look back at and say, oh shit, that's how they did that. And it was really fun to do. Don't you think that was a blast?
That seems the
It
best.
was, and it was very fun.
Riley, you have my wife's favorite line in the movie. You know how I knew you didn't want to spend time with me? Because you didn't spend time with me. That's the biggest
I want to bring in the other actors, Billy and Patrick. As George noted, it's a single scene for Billy, and Patrick is just a handful of scenes, but you both make quite an impression. I'm just wondering how you thought about how your moments just fit into the larger script and film?
Hit it, Ron.
It's the writing. I mean, we were doing a Q&A.
It's a common theme here.
We were doing a Q&A in Telluride, and I was sure that I had invented some moment, and I was explaining how I had invented it, and Noah paused and said, "That was in the script." And I went back and I looked, and it was in the script. So the execution, be asked to do something that's complicated with people who are working in a high caliber is it's a great joy and a gift, and one of the most fortunate 4 or 5 days of my life. I think the press line that we did out in front was longer than the time that I spent shooting this movie.
I will say the first time I read the script, I thought, like, who is gonna be able to pull off that audition scene? Because it's so hard and you're so good.
Well, it was just pure panic. He didn't change the script in a way that I thought I could do it, so about 2 weeks out I thought, well, I'd better figure this shit out. Patrick?
And say it with an emotion.
What's the question?
I was making the most of your screen time.
It's called Hemi acting. No, man, I wish I could say something better than the writing. I mean, I will say this was such a singular experience because, like Riley said, all her stuff was with George. I had one scene with both of these wonderful gentlemen, and so isolated from the rest of the company. I knew that Billy was in the movie. I've known the guy for a long time. We're good friends, and when I saw, but as I sat and watched the movie, I had never read the script. I never read the full script.
We weren't allowed to have, he wasn't allowed to have that.
I was not. No, it's a true story. I'd never done that on another movie, and Noah and I talked about it because my character it didn't really matter if he knew anything that was going on. And I actually kind of loved it, George, because if I'd known where you were coming from when I saw you on the side of the road, I probably would have given you a ride. But I didn't, and I didn't really care. And I thought it was kind of genius, actually. So, yeah, that was a new experience for me. So it was I only knew my stuff. So when I saw the movie, I was blown away because I felt like you guys just felt like an audience member. And when Billy just dropped the hammer in his scene, I was like, oh God, I hope I'm good, because he has really just raised the bar. And then Josh cried too in his scene. I'm like, oh shit, I cry in mine, and Adam does. Like, man, I hope we're good. But I'm just happy to be here. This is a whole new crew for me to work with, and I couldn't be more blessed to be here. So I'm glad you guys took the movie.
Say that because the movie in part is about performance, I mean about performing yourself, and I think that there's something I kind of realized in putting the cast together was that the cast in some ways had to be like, I mean of course they had to be good, but they also had to be formidable, and I felt like because we start with people who we lose, and then we gain people and then they go away, and then we gain more people later, and that every actor who came in, you wanted to have a relationship with them in some ways, to know who they were. It's like I've made movies, like a movie like Frances Ha, where I feel like it's great. You don't want to recognize everybody. You want to feel like you're in this sort of New York and your 20s, and it's sort of it doesn't announce itself in that way. The movie announces itself in other ways, and I think here. Part of the pleasure of the movie is watching great actors be great, and I felt like that could be the sort of meta story of the movie is watching. I mean, Billy gets to do it in this way where we demonstrate great acting, but like there is this aspect of, because it's also about love of the craft and love of what we do and love of movies, and so to have, I mean. It's amazing, these people here. I mean, this is just a part of this amazing cast, and this is like, when I was cutting the movie, I would remind myself, like, oh my God, I have this person too, and this person, I mean, what a great gift because it is built into the DNA of the movie. The movie had to have people like this.
He is saying that because he cast himself in the movie.
I'm also quite good.
I do want to bring Nicholas in before we wrap it up. Noah and Nicholas, if you could say a little bit about your collaboration. It is a wonderful score, as Laura noted. And I think it really plays a big part in just giving the film, for me, a kind of old Hollywood sensibility.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here and to be up here with all these incredible people. Yeah, it was a joy to work on the whole process. From the first time I met Noah over 2 years ago, the first project we worked on together, and from the very beginning, Noah really had a sense of that. I think the feeling we were kind of going for, a love letter to movies, the feelings that we love in movies, and yeah, there's so many things we discovered over the process of working on the music. One of the things I could point out is that throughout the whole movie, you hear a felt piano. Actually, it's a piano that has a piece of felt between the hammers and the strings, and it kind of like, it makes the piano very intimate and almost restrains the emotion in it. It actually became something that Noah and I talked a lot about, that it felt like it sort of represented this journey for Jay, and how, you know, starting out, there's a beauty and an intimacy, but there's the emotionally trying to find something there. And as the film evolves, by the end, it's a huge Steinway D concert grand that you're hearing under the very last scene. So there's this kind of like opening up and like expansiveness of the sound there. And the other thing, just on the level of like the love of movies and the craft of that, we the whole score is actually recorded to analog tape, the way it would have been done in the last century. So, and that was a experimental process. I was like, is this going to work? Can we do this? You know, but it did, and it just had the sound was just something so special that we loved that. So anyway, I had just a wonderful, beautiful experience.
And it's shot on film, by the way.
Shot on film.
Now, when you mentioned this sort of like meta, like layered aspect of the film in terms of, you know, the actors, the other one that struck me tonight is just like this weird Hall of Mirrors effect of watching this film at a film festival. And we thought we might come up with an award as well. But no, I mean, that's like a scene from that could be in a film, like taking place off stage right now. So I'm just wondering how this is hitting you all, this sort of Hall of Mirrors. Like,
Well, I was just at a film festival in Zurich, and something happened, and I thought, like, shit, I already made this movie. Because I was thinking, like, oh, this would have been great to put in the movie. I've got to wait at least a few years before I do another film festival. What was the question?
just the, you know, film festival film at a film festival.
I'm just, yeah, well, that or not, I'm just, again, to be in Alice Tully Hall with you all,
Yeah.
what a privilege, yeah. Thank you, Dennis.
Most of you.
This was a beautiful screening. Thank you.